You wake up in an underground nightclub bathroom. It's ugly, repulsing even. The mirrors are completely missing from their frame, with a single word carved in the wall to replace its spot. Afraid? You hear faint music playing through the walls. There is nowhere to go except a single door right before you. You kick it open. The music can now be heard more clearly. With flashing lights, it's assumed that the party is alive and roaring. But you aren't here for the party, and it doesn't seem like he is either.
Please sign the waiver.
With no other choice, you sign the waiver, 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 you sign the waiver. I don't think you know what you just got yourself into. This is Buckshot Roulette, an indie horror game developed by Mike Klubnica, known for his various other PlayStation 1 style horror games, such as Carbon Steel and Concrete Tremor. Buckshot Roulette follows the style of Klubnica's other games, grimy, dark, and short. This game only lasts for around 10 to 20 minutes depending on your playthrough, but it's one you won't forget anytime soon. Speaking of which, before I get into this game, I highly recommend you buy this and play it for yourself, and then return to this video. It's only $1.20, which is most likely a reference to the 12 gauge shotgun caliber, and it's an experience you can't find anywhere else, unless you want to play it in real life of course. But with that out of the way, let's get into the mysterious world of Buckshot Roulette. Face to face with a figure who is only known as the dealer, in front of you is also a pump action shotgun, a Remington 870 with an extended magazine tube I believe. At the start of each round, there will be a certain amount of shots that are live rounds or empty shells, which we're just gonna call blanks. If you don't know how a traditional pump action shotgun works, you load the shells into the magazine tube one by one. This means the last shell you inserted into the tube will actually be the first shell that is fired. Because you are unable to see this tube, you don't know how many shots are left unless you're counting, and you also don't know which shell is a live round. That's the roulette part. Each turn you decide to shoot yourself, which can skip the dealer's turn if it's a blank, or you can shoot the dealer, in which a blank or a live round will end your turn. And if you shoot yourself with a live round, well, let's not think about that just yet. So, let's take our chances. Now, this 1 out of 3 chance turns into a 50-50. I'd say let's shoot the dealer. Well, he's back, and his face isn't pretty. Now you might be wondering how the dealer isn't dead, and well, I'll get to that later. For now, let's just try and beat him again.
3 live rounds, 2 blanks. They enter the chamber in a hidden sequence.
A 3/5 chance of a live round. I like those odds. Well, shit. Now the dealer's AI is quite gruesome and makes the smartest decision it can most of the time, but then sometimes it just does that. But it isn't over yet.
Let's make this a little more interesting.
You're now able to pick out 2 items from a box every time a new set of shells is loaded. These items consist of a handsaw, which deals 2 damage for a single turn, a pack of cigarettes, allowing you to regain a single charge, a can of beer, which will eject the current round in the shotgun, handcuffs, which will skip the dealer's turn for a round, wait, what is... Well, never mind that, and a magnifying glass, which allows you to see what round is inside the chamber. Anyways, a 50-50. I have some pretty good faith in ourselves, so let's just... It's eerily quiet. A large boom and then simply silence. Is this all there is after death? Or is there something else? How am I alive? Well, I guess I might as well continue since I'm here again. There's so many things with this game that are just left to the interpretation of the player. A defibrillator is used to bring us back, but the dealer doesn't use one. When you saw off the shotgun and use it for one turn, the barrel comes back magically. Speaking of, I wish my damn handsaw. Fuck. I hope this turn isn't that bad. Well, our turn is skipped, but hey, let's just hope the next shots aren't up. Okay, this is bad. We only have 2 charges left. I hope he doesn't use that next hacksaw.
You're looking left you with a charge! Let us hear the night is fun!
Yeah, we lost, but we aren't dead somehow. This is what happens every time when you die on the first or second level of the game, but you can just go right back to your dealer and start from the level you're on. But for the sake of not boring you guys to death, let's just get straight to the last level. This final level is where things get a lot more strategic. You're given 4 items each reload, and you need to use these items to maximize your chances of surviving, trying to eliminate luck out of the equation as much as possible. I love this last stage of the game, and it is by far the best part. All of your luck, or in my case, misfortune, has brought you to this point, and it is the final showdown between the dealer and your prize. Once either you or the dealer gets down to the final charge or 2, the tone changes dramatically. This creepy music plays in the background as the blades cut the wires to the machine that brings the dealer back from the dead. So with one last smoke break and a saw to the shotgun, you end it. Nowhere to be seen, a briefcase sits right in front of you, opening the left lock, and then the right, and finally, the top. Taking home the shotgun and the briefcase of money, take a car and drive off to wherever. The game does count some stats such as how much beer you drank, how many times you've died, and how many cigarettes you smoked. These come into play and can lower the amount of money you receive at the end, with the highest amount being 70 grand. But no matter how much money you have received, you always take the shotgun with you, as a reminder of what you did to earn it. Now, this would be the part where I get into my theories and interpretations of the game, but it seems Mr. Klubnica had different plans. On January 12th, Mike released an update for the game. V1.1 is just some minor changes, able to lower the volume, go windowed mode, and an added reset button for speedrunners. But another thing that was added was an endless mode. When you take the pills that are found in the bathroom, it enables the endless mode. And after the initial 3 rounds, you can choose to cash out or go double or nothing. Theoretically, it would be possible to get over 1 million now, but you're going to need to take the risk over and over and over and over. This mode adds a ton of replayability to the game, and it is awesome that Mike updated the game to add this feature. But what if you lose at the last level of the base game? I can't tell if this is heaven or hell or even purgatory, and I think that's the scariest part about this location. Entering the gates, you go deep into the spikes and towards the sky. You are finally dead. You have the option to retry or exit, and if you retry, you simply go back to the bathroom. Upon entering back into the dealer's room, he looks at you in silence before saying 6 words.
I better not see you again.
And with that, let's rewind time and get to the interpretations of the game. I think when it comes to interpretations of the game itself, the most popular opinion about what it represents is addiction, or more specifically, gambling addiction. Like just buying one more spin to try to get that huge max win.
I need the max win.
No matter which ending you get, you always return to the dealer if you continue playing the game. Even when you lose on the first or second round, the dealer just so happens to have an extra charge for you, which is given to you by a mysterious person who defibrillates you in the bathroom. When you win, you can always decide to come back by pressing play on the title screen again. And even when you fucking die, you still come back to life, which even shocks the dealer, who seems kinda scared or concerned that you've come back. To me, these endings represent different stages of gambling addiction. Dying on level 1 or level 2 is your average loss, but you don't think much of it and come back. Winning the game is the real life equivalent of beating the odds and making your money, which is very rare in most cases. And the final ending of death is the most common outcome. You let your addiction ruin your life, and it ultimately leads to your demise, whether it be financial ruin or death itself. Even winning the game isn't necessarily a happy ending. Yeah, you've gone through all that effort, but was it worth putting your life on the line for a measly 60 to 70 grand? If we compare this to drug addiction, it would be like finally becoming sober and quitting substances, but it wouldn't necessarily mean going through the addiction in the first place was worth it. Another glaring piece of evidence that this is about addiction is the bottle of pills in the bathroom, and the fact that when you take these pills, it's what enables endless mode, which allows you to go double or nothing. This is some crazy symbolism and really cool game design by Klubnik that is such a small detail, yet so meaningful on what this game could mean. Now this is basically another version of the addiction interpretation, but one way I see it is that the main character, aka the person you play as, is actually fighting themselves. Through playing this game, the protagonist has 2 sides that are both fighting each other. The dealer represents their addiction, and the character you play represents overcoming addiction, sort of like sobriety. Losing in the first level represents relapsing, like trying to quit drugs or gambling and then giving in again, which sets you back to the first stage, this being the bathroom in this case. The second level is essentially the same, except you get a little bit closer to sobriety since you were alive for longer, or in the symbolic sense, you were sober for longer. When you die in the final level, I think that is when you finally succumb to your addiction, and it results in death or a different way of your life being ruined. But winning the game is like being able to become fully sober, beating your addiction, and while it took some effort to get there, you beat it regardless, going through that hardship and were able to break free from the chains, that is addiction. While it didn't ruin your life, it got close, but you have a new start and you might as well go from there. But he isn't done with you. The dealer is such an interesting character because he's so menacing yet so little is known about him. The most popular interpretation I've seen of the dealer is that he is the devil himself. There isn't exactly a huge amount of evidence to back up this case. However, one of the only pieces that do exist is very compelling, and that is the waiver that was signed by someone who seems to be God himself, covered in blood, which we can interpret means that he lost the game. God is dead in this universe, and who would he be killed by? None other than the devil. Another detail that was very glaring to me, even on my first playthrough, was that the dealer doesn't use defibrillators to come back. The game doesn't specifically say what he uses to come back after being shot, but before the final level starts, the dealer does say, no more defibrillators, no more blood transfusions. And since we only see the defibrillator used on us, with no blood on the table from our wounds, it is safe to say the dealer uses blood transfusions. Also because he bleeds every time he is shot. He could be using the blood bags to just replenish his blood, or he feeds off of it. The final detail is super small, but I just thought I'd point it out. There's some sort of satanic symbol on the cigarette box. I thought it was a pentagram at first, but it's something else and I haven't been able to make it out, but it is pretty interesting. And finally, the last thing I would like to talk about is, what is the protagonist? And some of you might have a really easy answer for this and just say, oh well, they're human. But are they really? They're able to take multiple shotgun shots to the face and simply be brought back with a defibrillator charge with no blood spilt. That does not seem very human to me at all. The first thought I had was maybe you're like the dealer you go against, but yet again, you have legs to kick down doors. The dealer just seems like a floating head and hands. The protagonist more closely resembles a man smoking the cigarette outside of the room, who also seems to be the person who revives you if you lose level 1 or 2. The only explanation I have to what the protagonist is that he could be some sort of spirit. Now this would only really work if the nightclub we are located in is some sort of heaven, hell, or some other spiritual realm, which would contradict the claim that where the gates are is actually heaven, hell, or some sort of purgatory. So the gates would actually be some sort of other place that spirits go to die. Now I would like to say again, this is purely just off of my own speculation, and if you have any thoughts on what this game actually represents, leave it down in the comments. And to quote a wise man, it's just a theory. A game theory. I really hope you enjoyed this little short analysis on Buckshot Roulette and the mysterious world within it. Before I go, I'd like to give a shout out to both Mnaxa and Gorguini, as both of their videos on Buckshot Roulette were inspirations to me, and both their videos helped me put this together. I will be leaving a link to both their videos in the description below, as well as a link to my Twitter because I actually have a Twitter now. Well, I mean, I've had it for a while, I just decided I'd announce it now. Depending on how many people follow, I might start posting updates on videos more there instead of the YouTube community tab. The final thing I would like to say is that thank you for so much support on the last video. I never thought it would get that big, and not just that, but I never thought in a million years that the actual living Tombstone themselves would watch it. It means the entire world that you, the viewer, are watching and enjoying my content. Like I said before, if you want to have some simple discussions about my video, please tell me about your opinions in the comments below, what you liked or disliked about the video, and if you loved the video, why not click that subscribe button? Either way, my time is finally up here. I'm gonna hope there's a blank in this shotgun. I'll be on my way now, stay safe, and see ya! Anyways, let's get that 70 grand.